Welcome, everyone, to Curtain Jerks, right here on the Comedy Podcast Network. I'm Scott Narver.
And I'm Steve Sears.
And it's no different. This week in wrestling is gigantic. As always, we're on the road to WrestleMania. We have Progress Wrestling to talk about in the UK with special guest Glen Joseph coming up later on the podcast. And Elimination Chamber has happened.
Get ready.
The pods have been opened and
busted open. Yeah. Busted shut.
Busted open, busted shut. Wrestlers have been released from their pods. The chambers have been flushed. And a winner has been declared.
I hope you got a full tank of gas, listeners, and you got a bunch of snacks, because this is going to be a good podcast. You're going to be listening and driving safely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why would they be driving safely?
Because I always assume people are listening in their cars.
Yeah, but why are they driving safely when they're listening to us? They're not rocking their heads and headbanging. That's what I picture when they're listening to us.
Oh, you know, it's like a real rock show comedy laugh-a-festathon?
Yeah. Gut bustings.
Just
airbags blowing.
Yeah, just so much comedy going on. You're cracking the window because you're swinging your head around.
They see a lady next to them driving up, because probably the majority of our listeners are males, and then they turn their heads and they give the devil, but then at the same time they stick their tongue out in between and go blah, blah, blah. But then they drool like the Big Show and they go blah, 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 and they're like, oh, that's embarrassing.
And then they roll down their window because the windows get all fogged up, and they turn up the podcast just a little bit, and they hear the dulcet tones of us saying, "Hey!"
Yeah, and right as the window comes down, it's a cop looking at him going, all right, pull your car over.
Yeah, because the lady drove forward, and the cop pulled up
and said, he's licking and slobbering and doing gross stuff.
And then the cop said, don't worry, I'll take care of this. And then he's like, hey, what's that great podcast you're listening to?
And then as she's driving off, then he starts rubbing his groin and going like, yeah, right. Wrestling fans.
The cop starts masturbating to the wrestling fans? See, Curtain Jerks. It brings it out of you.
Yeah, brings out the jerk in you.
Yeah. We're comedians living in Los Angeles and reporting the news as we see fit. If you want to get the good stuff, go to Bleacher Report or Fox News' website or TMZ. Get a lot of good wrestling news from them.
Or ask CM Punk in an airport.
Yeah, if you find him, just go up to him and talk to him.
Just say, hey, what's going on backstage?
What are you doing, waiting for your girlfriend?
You guys still together? I mean, she's with the company, right?
Hey, do you ever wear pants? I feel like all I do is see you wear shorts. No socks.
Why not Coke? Why just Pepsi?
Why not Coke? Kane.
Yeah, why not? Why not drugs?
Are there any
why not switch your hands? Free drug.
Yeah. What? Are there any movies you hate?
Is there anything you hate?
Yeah, is there stuff you like?
Oh, that's a litany. That's a litany of things.
That's a bunch of stuff.
Karate chop to the throat.
Yeah, Mongolian chops to the throat.
Yeah, and he chokes you out.
I'd love to see a Mongolian chop in a movie, like someone legitimately do it, and then either you don't have to have the person's head chop off, but I think you could have their eyes cross, or it could be a neck break move, or blood comes out of their mouth.
That seems like a Steven Seagal or a Tony Jaa move.
I could see Tony Jaa, Tony Jaa would jump up in the air and come down on you with a Mongolian chop.
He likes to do double. There's one of his movies where he did a double elbows to a guy's head.
Or do double knees.
But that doesn't, you can't do double elbows with momentum. You can't do it.
Tony Jaa can.
It doesn't look right.
Jaa can do it.
I know he does it, but it still doesn't look like it works, because listeners at home, wait till you hit a red light. And then fucking try and double elbow directly in front of you at a focal point with force.
Consider this. He's jumped up in the air and he's also falling down on somebody and doing the double elbow. I mean, I would never attempt the double elbow from a standing position. You need to do the Superman elbow.
Okay, listeners at home, when you're at a red light, find a local trampoline, get on it, and then jump off into a pool, double elbow a big inflatable killer shark.
Yeah.
Do it there.
Or one of the green alligators. But watch out for those plastic handles. You don't want to chip. You don't want to tooth a chip.
Yeah, you don't want to tooth a chip.
You don't want to tooth a chip.
No.
You don't want a tooth to chip.
No, you don't want a tooth to chip.
You don't want a tooth to chip.
Kids, don't try this at home.
Yeah, don't run around the pool either.
But obviously try it at home.
Yeah.
That's such crock of shit.
The shallow end of the pool is for wrestling moves.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's why you have a little brother or sister.
Yeah, and the lip of the pool is for stitches.
Mm-hmm. Because bitches get stitches.
That's, and that's why you don't tap. No tapping.
No tapping. Unlike Cesaro at the Elimination Chamber.
Oh, man, I wanted to see him win. No, later. We'll talk about the Elimination Chamber later.
Why? Shouldn't we talk about that now?
What? I thought we were going to talk about it later.
No, we're going to talk about it now. Because
said-
you're unfamiliar with the other stuff.
Yeah, I'm completely Let's talk about it later, because then we can talk about it in terms of Raw and all that other stuff.
All right. Well, then, WWE Network has launched.
Yes, it has. Wait, can we talk about that?
That's what I was holding on for that later, because that goes into the other thing.
But everything is attached to each other.
Fine. TNA is in England. They have wrapped up their current run of, because I saw all these shows. This is super weird, and I'm going to talk about TNA more next week, because that's when we have Rockstar Spud on the show. So I was saving all this because it's super weird to live 8 hours ahead in the future in England, and then on top of that, I saw all of Impact.
So not only are you from the future, but you've seen all the TV that they had.
Yes, I've seen it all. I know what's happening. I know exactly what's going to go down. And it's weird because I don't want to talk about it on the show. I love TNA. I want to talk about it, but I don't want to spoil the entire show. So what happened recently was Anderson had a casket match with Bully Ray and got messed up in the eye, like got a big black eye and it's bleeding. I got a picture with him. I'll post that soon. I'll post that up. I guess I could do that this week. No harm in that now that it's been seen on air. Magnus has been there. Rockstar Spud's been hilarious. Abyss is Joseph Park. Joseph Park is now going to go seek help from someone else. We don't know who that is. There's all kinds of stuff going on in TNA. Oh, and one of the best things of all, guess who turned on who, Steve?
Oh, man. There's so many permutations at work here.
Yeah, I'm not going to give you any clues on this one. A tag team turned on itself.
From TNA?
Yes.
Oh, gosh.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to say no to the Motor City Machine Guns.
Okay.
I'm also going to say no to Generation Me.
Okay.
I'm also going to say no to the Book of Ink Inc.
Uh-huh.
I'm also going to say no to...
Look at his retention here.
Yeah, it's a lot of... I'm fucking retaining a lot.
Uh-huh.
I'm like a...
Oh boy!
Another, yeah, no,
Well,
I've got great retention.
That's a good wrestling fan right there, holding on to I can hold on to a bunch of tag teams, but words that describe other words.
Yeah, what are the names of my kids? What other tag teams?
Oh right, Brother Devon, Brother Ray, Brother Runt,
Brother Sprike, Sting and...
That's right, Gunner and James Storm.
What?
Gunner cashed in his not money in the bank, his feast or fired case for the World Heavyweight Championship, was having a match against Magnus. Craziness happened. EC Carter III and others running in, and then the Wolves and James Storm come to the rescue. James Storm is in there, tells Gunner to go up for the big elbow, and then as he comes down, super kick to the face.
Nice, because he threw in the... Remember when Gunner threw in the towel for James Storm?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. He's been dickish.
He's mopping up with revenge.
Mm-hmm. Revenge right to the jaw. It's good stuff. It was good stuff.
Gunner.
That's what you do with a TNA wrestler. This is what Tom Anstey and I discovered, that you just say their name over and over again when there's no lyrics.
Mm-hmm.
And it works for Gunner. Great. You just start saying his name a lot.
Can you do the Kurt Angle one?
Kurt Angle, Kurt Angle,
Oh, wouldn't it go?
Kurt Angle.
That's the beginning. And
I thought you just meant put Kurt Angle and Gunner. I'm no singer like John Laurinaitis. I can't do that stuff.
Or Jim Johnson.
Oh, he's not. Well, he's a composer.
I wonder how he's doing.
I don't know how he's doing.
It's not a good segue, but I was gonna I almost played Fallout New Vegas the other day, and I was wondering about Jim Johnson.
Are you?
Yeah.
Well, you're wondering about how Jim Johnson is doing.
Yeah.
Last time we talked to him on the podcast, he was not doing well. He thinks we live in an apocalypse where there's zombies and things like that.
The only thing is the music can keep them at bay.
Yeah, he thinks the music that these authoritative people are telling him to compose is keeping all these zombies at bay, and he hasn't seen his family in years.
Well, then why don't we give him a call on the WWE switchboard, and then if we can find out his address, we can send him some water or some of those fish cakes from Lost.
The fish cakes from Lost.
You know the fish biscuits that they fed the polar bears?
Oh, we also had some fucking terrible fish biscuits at a local ramen house.
Those were waffles filled with bean curd shaped like fish.
God, it's so gross. Waffles filled with bean curd. Ugh, so gross. All right, we'll send him some of those.
All right, I'm dialing.
Okay.
It's ringing.
Okay, good. That means the phone is working.
Yeah, it's good to know that the phone's working. Hello.
Hello, Jim Johnston, please.
No, this is Kane.
What? Korporate Kane?
Yes, Jim Johnston is not available right now at this moment.
Well, look, Kane, it'd be, this is Curtain Jerks. We'd really love to speak to Jim Johnston.
I'm sorry, Curtain Jerks, but you can't talk to Jim Johnston.
All right, look, we don't want to have a problem with the authority of the WWE. We just want to talk to Jim Johnston about.
Well, you're skirting very close to having a problem with the authority.
Look, people are upset with you already as it is. You cost Daniel Bryan a title match at WrestleMania 30.
Well, I'm a bald guy.
You got me there. You've crushed me with logic on that point, so I'm not going to fight you from that instance, but I will speak out for the fans. They really want to see Daniel Bryan in WrestleMania 30 in the main event match, but instead it appears that Daniel Bryan's settling for Triple H.
All right, I hear what you're saying.
Okay.
If you're speaking on behalf of the fans, then I'd like to extend an olive branch and let you know that the WWE Universe is one of my top priorities.
Okay, what are some of your other top priorities? Just so we know, we know what you're working on and we know where we lie.
I make sure that there's warm sodas at the craft service table backstage for all of the superstars.
All right, normally the people would probably be upset by this, but I grew up on warm soda living in Texas, so I think warm soda is a great idea.
Well, that's great, Scott. I'll make sure to have an ice-cold soda for you.
Whoa, wait, what?
You heard me.
I did, and I don't want an ice-cold soda. I'd like a warm soda.
I'm sorry. Guess I'll just have to warm up all these sodas with my thighs for the superstars and have a soda on ice for you.
What soda are you going to give me?
What kind of soda would you like?
I love Dr. Pepper.
Oh, man, I'm sorry. All I've got for you is a Pib Extra.
Oh, gross. I don't want Pib Extra.
Maybe I can get you some Safeway Select Dr. Tab.
No, the only point that
No Professor Pep for you?
No, I don't want. The only reason I'd get Safeway is to save money, but if someone else is buying it, that means they're just being cheap.
Exactly, Scott. We're the authority. We're cutting corners where it counts to give the WWE Universe everything that they need.
No, this is not good. You are cutting Daniel Bryan out of the main event, and it seems like if you're cutting, you've been cutting on WWE Network. That is freezing on me all the time. I was going to get to it later in the show, but this is a personal gripe. It's freezing all the time.
You mean the WWE Network?
Well, son of a bitch. You son of a bitch. I am on a free week trial, and then soon thereafter, I'm going to have to pay $10. I want it to work.
Why didn't you get it when a major pay-per-view was coming out?
What do you mean?
You should have got it for a week free when there was a pay-per-view.
It launched the day after Elimination Chamber.
Why didn't you wait?
Because I wanted it now. I wanted to support you guys now.
So you're telling me that as a fan, you can't wait to get what you want?
Yes. 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 And so forth. My fingers are up in the air. Yes, yes, yes.
Good. I think we understand each other.
You are being a total dick right now. You
All
used to
right,
be super
okay.
cool with the fire, and now you're being a dick to everybody.
I can hear that you're very agitated right now.
Yeah.
Let me get back to the incentives I have for the WWE Universe to
Great.
keep them happy.
Great, that'd be awesome. What incentives do you have for everybody that'll keep them happy that instead of Daniel Bryan, they get Batista and Randy Orton?
In regards to the roster and the WWE Network not working, as well as current frustrations with the WrestleMania card, as well as exorbitant ticket prices,
Okay.
we're offering a new Korporate Kane t-shirt that looks like a suit.
Boy, I'm 50-50 on this. I'm going to be honest with you. A Korporate Kane shirt that looks like a suit?
Have you ever known a cool guy in high school who goes to the prom wearing a tuxedo t-shirt?
Yeah.
Imagine that is instead of a tuxedo, it's a suit.
I'm really sold on this. I know a lot of our listeners are probably going to be really upset and say they don't want any part of this. I like this idea. Where do I get one of these Korporate Kane t-shirt suits?
Well, I would say the WWE Shop Zone, but that doesn't exist anymore.
No, that's not a thing. Do you want me to help you out with what the address is?
What is it?
WWEshop.com.
Yes, I've got that written down on a legal pad here at my desk.
Yes,
if I ate it, I'm sure it would be delicious. But I'm a normal person, so I won't do that. I will put it in the trash can and watch it flame up.
Is there anything else? Was that it?
That was it.
Oh. Is there anything else you can give us? I mean, just a shirt? That doesn't seem like a whole lot,
How about some Mr. Ass washcloths?
Are they specifically for the ass?
You can use whatever part of them you want, but preferably on the ass.
Okay, so you're also giving away Mr. Ass washcloths.
Wash your ass.
I gotta admit, I would like that too. That sounds like it'd be really fun. And then if you have a girl come over and she's using that, she's like, what is this, Mr. Ass? It's like, oh, sorry. And then you just take a Sharpie and you write Mrs. And that's your incentive of like, look, I want to marry you.
Mr. and Mrs. Ass.
Yeah. Okay, there's got to be a third thing. Everything comes in threes. And so far, I'm liking these treats that you're giving. I mean, come on, Kane, please, I'm begging. A third thing, just to make everybody happy. People really want Daniel Bryan in the main event. They really do.
All right. If you want Daniel Bryan in the main event so bad.
Yeah. I mean, everybody really, really does.
We're going to be offering exclusive Daniel Bryan masks that the main event players of Randy Orton and Batista will have to wear at WrestleMania.
You're saying that you're making masks that only those two are going to wear?
There's only 2 exclusive Daniel Bryan masks.
And Batista and Randy Orton are going to wear them during the main event?
Yes. Make sure that you have a hard stock paper that you can print them out. They'll be available at WWEshop.com. For $19.99, you can download the PDF, then print it out, and then tape them together and wear them while you're watching WWE Presents WrestleMania on the WWE Network, presented by iPad.
I am no longer happy with this deal. Kane, you are a son of a bitch. This is no good. You can't offer exclusive masks that no one can win except for 2 guys that are in the main event of a wrestler who's not in the main event.
Oh, I'm going to have to stop you right there, Scott. I've got another call. I'm going to have to take this.
Who is it?
I don't know. It's just a red light blinking.
Really? You don't have caller ID?
No.
You're not even going to tell me who it is?
I'm lying to you. It's no one. I'm just going to hang up.
Oh, don't do that.
I'm going to hang up right now.
No, hang up.
I'm hanging up right now. I'm hanging up right now. I'm going to hang up.
I think he hung up.
I'm still here. I'm going to hang up.
Oh, don't.
I'm going to hang up right.
Oh, now he hung up. God damn it.
Man, Korporate Kane is an asshole.
He is an asshole.
When is he going to wrestle in his old man trunks?
His old man trunk?
He keeps wrestling. He keeps
and a wife beater and slacks.
It's really cool. He does sort of look like John McClane from Die Hard every time he wrestles.
Oh my God, he does.
But bald. No, he looks like John McClane from Die Hard now, but in the first movie.
He does.
Yeah.
I never thought about that. Like a John McClane that's been drinking Ninja Turtle mutagen.
Mm-hmm. Mutagen?
Yeah.
What is it called mutagen?
Well, in the movies they called it ooze.
What's the name of the company in that one? In 2. Remember, Splinter has both pieces of the canister, and he's slowly bringing them together, and then he's...
Cock.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Cock Industries. My sons, go chase down the cock.
Oh, man.
Look out for the foot. The foot will be fighting you for the cock. And all beware of the shredder, for that will ruin the cock.
The shredder runs the hand that runs the foot that ruins the cock.
Mm-hmm. That's how I remember it.
And what was the name of the fly guy?
Baxter Stockman?
Yep.
He's not in those movies.
He should be. That would make those movies fucking scary as shit.
Just put Jeff Daniels in there as the fly.
Yeah.
That would be cool as shit. Speaking of cool as shit, Steve, I haven't told you much about this yet because I've been wanting to talk about it on the podcast, which has been quite some time now, about Progress Wrestling.
Well, I appreciate that you keep things that are important to yourself.
Oh, you have no idea how much shit I keep from you that's important to me.
Scott, you're smiling, but there seems to be some sort of moisture that's leaking out of your eyes.
Oh, man. So many things that happen in my life that I don't share with anyone.
I don't have have an outlet, you know?
Not even you listeners. I'm dating a deaf girl. Let me tell you. Progress Wrestling. In the UK, in London, I went to a show with Tom Anstey. That's where we did the interviews with Rosie Lee, Ollie Armstrong, and Tommy Yen. They're all getting prepped for the show. Today on the show, we have Glen Joseph, co-owner of the show. And the show that I saw was quite incredible. Tom kept telling me, says, you're going to see a show. It's going to be unlike anything you've seen. And I'm like, all right, it's a wrestling show. It'll be a little rowdy. That's fine. I get it. It's not going to be that crazy. It was pretty fucking crazy.
What was the venue?
Oh, boy.
Describe it to me.
Okay. It's a venue that they're not going to be in anymore because it's roughly held about 300 people, but they kept selling out on the day of the show. Like, it was quick sellouts, as Glenn will talk about. They sold out like crazy. And, again, they were packed. And the next show, Chapter 12, that they're going to do is 600 people. So this was 300. So it's a small, okay, you walk in. On the right-hand side, there is a bar. So a long bar area. And then on the left-hand side, there's the ring. And then there's a lot of space in between for a fair amount of people. Place is nice. It's not a shithole. It's not a dump that most indie wrestling spots would be in.
When you say bar, is it was it a set bar? Is it a wood bar countertop? Or was it just folding tables?
Countertop.
So that was a permanent bar in this venue.
Permanent bar in the venue.
Okay.
Your liquors and stuff like that. There are monitors up over the bar and another spot or two. And again, like I said, really nice. Like wood floors. Just a really, really sleek looking place. And it got warm because there was a bunch of people in there, but it was nice and cozy. It wasn't dingy. It wasn't, rotted walls. Bathrooms are nice. Everything about it was, holy shit, this is pretty upscale for an indie wrestling show. I am shocked already.
It's no abandoned bank.
No abandoned bank. Although that'd be fun too.
I went to an abandoned bank show.
Really?
Yeah, there was a giant vault there was a giant vault on the wall.
What?
Yeah, it was the giant steel door.
Did people wrestle in there?
No, but they did go out into the parking lot.
This seems so weird.
Yeah, the Bad Apples pile drived a guy in the flatbed of a truck.
The Bad Apples?
Hey, this isn't about me, Scott. This is about Progress Wrestling.
I know, but I'm wondering maybe Progress Wrestling will be interested in the Bad Apples.
Yeah, sure. I got to find out what the name of that venue was. I think it was MXW, Most Extreme Wrestling.
Oh.
Maybe. I don't know. Hellfire was the champion. El Flaco Loco was there. It's good times.
Oh, that's always the best thing about indie wrestling is you get to hear these incredible names that have not been used yet. So the show opens up, hosted by one of the co-owners, Jim Smallman, who is also a stand-up comedian. This was the best hosting job for a wrestling show I've ever seen in my life. So they start off, they play a fucking rockin' song, and they play it all the way through. I'm trying to remember off the top of my head. I think it was Metallica. I'm going to be wrong, and somebody's going to go, no, idiot. So that's fine. It was like a month ago. I didn't jot that down. That wasn't the most important thing to me. But everybody's singing along and doing it, and they just play that 3-4 minute song. Then Jim Smallman's on the mic and talking, and since he's a comedian, he's got the pulse of the room right away.
Mm-hmm.
And he's involved in the show. He's not just some guy that comes in and tells jokes. He's busting jokes, and everybody's having a good time, and everybody's on board. Nobody's heckling him. He heckles some of the people in the crowd, just ripping on him. Finds out somebody's wearing a John Cena t-shirt, gives them a little bit of shit. But I've never seen anything like that. You always have ring announcers, and it's just like, yeah, shut up, hurry up.
Well, the ring announcers always, I think, are so often think that they have to be the straight man.
Yes.
And they don't play to the crowd. They play to the page. They play to the script. They play to, I have to get these beats out because people need to know what's happening.
Yeah.
And if you have a comedian, you've got somebody getting to dictating terms.
And he does both. He does the ring announcing, and he keeps the flow of the show going. And
he was an MC. He was an MC more than an announcer. That's a great way to do it.
And it was super cool. It was so great to see that. It was a refreshing take on it, and he was exceptional at it. So that was a lot of fun. And then the first match was Team Screw Indie Wrestling, which is Mark Haskins and Nathan Cruz, and they had a lady with him, Catherine Ross, versus Styx and this guy, Dave Mastiff, who hadn't come in yet. The other tag team came in separately, so Styx came in first, and then these other guys beat him down. And then the crowd started chanting, "Bastard! Bastard! Bastard!" I thought they were calling those guys bastards. I was wrong, because Dave Mastiff is the bastard. And this guy is gigantic. He's really big, but not in an unhealthy way. Just like for us, like you imagine he would be a Chicago Bear.
Oh, great.
And
Those are the most dangerous kind of bear.
the most dangerous. All they eat is deep dish.
Mm-hmm.
So he comes in and starts cleaning house. This guy's awesome, but it took me a second because I was laughing my head off. And Tom goes like, "His name's Bastard." And I go, "Oh." I thought it was just a clever chant by these 300 fans. So that match was super cool. Those guys were fun, and just chanting "Bastard" for someone is a lot of fun.
I feel like we've talked about it a little bit, not too much, but so when Mark was on, he was talking about watching a show in Japan.
Yes.
So much of it was really kind of like, not, I guess, regal, but really restrained, like clapping after power bombs and things like that.
It's respectful.
Respectful. Do you feel like it was respectful, or was it too clever for its own good, or was it rowdy? I mean, I don't want to put it in a negative tone, but
No,
it sounds
I know what you mean.
It sounds more alive than than a Japanese audience, than even an American audience. I mean, is it alcohol? Is it just a general like crazy fervor for wrestling right now? What was it to you as a witness?
I think some of it was a bit of alcohol in that everybody's just primed for the show. One thing that I also talked about in the previous interview and in this interview is there's a line forming outside in shitty weather. People want to go to this event and are not going to miss it. And they're not missing these events. They keep selling out. Like this, they are going, and when they're there, they're excited. They're not being overly clever. They're enhancing the show as much as they are being critical, but they weren't ever really critical for any wrong reasons. They were on board with their own countrymen.
I was about to say on board. It sounds like there was a positivity there, and I feel bad to say alcohol. I feel like that's the wrong connotation to it. It sounds like it would seem like more of a party atmosphere. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but
okay.
But everybody's invited. It's not the wrestlers and then there's the fans. Like they're all in it together. It's even a healthier ECW, but the fun of ECW that I'm sure that it was. Mm-hmm. But those were cynics. Like those were really cynical people.
Tired of the way wrestling was, so they got to be critical at ECW.
And they're ready to chant "you fucked up" at any second. Not these guys. Like this Progress crowd wasn't that way.
That sounds amazing. That sounds like being at a wrestling show and being bathed in like light and positivity and fucking power bombs. That sounds wonderful.
There's a referee, I don't know his name, who this was my favorite thing of the entire night. A referee, Tom told me the history that in one of the matches one time in a previous show, he was counting and his voice cracked. So it was like 1, 2, and then from that second on, the crowd latched onto it forever. And this ref, whenever he counted anything, if there was going to be going for the count out, so it's 1, 2. That's what the crowd did. 2, 3, 3, 4. So the 300 people all doing that, and you can see it's like, God damn it, it's never gonna die.
Well,
but it's so much fun.
Yeah,
it was so much fun to do that along with everybody else. So that, and we'll get to the champion a little bit with what they're chanting at him. But they were all on board together. I mean, yes, there's divided of who they're cheering for, but they're not. It's the cool atmosphere of what we kind of like to do on the show is they were positive about it. They liked watching the show. They wanted the best out of these guys because these next two guys that wrestled, Tom said he'd never seen them before. And they always have a match where they bring in two guys that are unknown to this crowd that are English wrestlers but not locals. So chances are it's their first show in front of these people.
So is it final exams for them? I mean, I'm sure they've wrestled before, but it's going somewhere else and taking down the road or working in front of a crowd you've never seen before.
It's working in front of a crowd you've never seen before. But here are two kids. Like, these are young kids that are not big either. They're like two scrawny-looking kids. Like, I thought they were going to get reamed apart. Mm-hmm. An American crowd would have torn them apart. Maybe in that last little bit of the match, they would have won them over. But fans would have just found similarities to other popular U.S. wrestlers and compared them or just dreamed them. These guys applauded and just politely waited for like, show us what you got, kid.
Yeah. I think that's better to be waiting to be impressed opposed to immediately telling them you're not going to be impressed.
I was ready to fucking rip on him to no end.
bet.
I'm like, yeah, let's fucking look at that guy's hair. You piece of shit. Yeah.
A bunch of
I weigh more than you.
A bunch of British people around you just like, Scott, please.
Yeah,
Give them an opportunity.
Yeah, I know I had to shut the fuck up. Like, oh, boy, shut it.
That's even at an indie, like an American indie show, you've got people like, oh, we just did the attitude adjustment. It's like, hey, look, they can't copyright a move. Come on, buddy.
Yeah, they're going to fucking run out of moves. They got to reuse them, all right?
Yeah. Oh, super kick, huh? Sweet chin music? All right.
So that was Flash Morgan Webster and Josh Bodum. They had a great match. They were good. And then this next match, Noam Dar versus El Ligero. This blew my mind. This was the moment where I'm like, I cannot believe the show that I'm at. Because this guy, Noam Dar, it's not even him necessarily. I was more wrapped up in the crowd because with his last name Dar, the crowd would sing. They sang Star Wars themes. Dar, 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 dar. They did that. They sang the Indiana Jones theme. Dar, 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 dar. They all did it.
Was
like,
he a fan favorite, or were they just going with his name?
Like both guys were fan favorites, and they were having this like the second of possibly 3 clashes, or was the third? I don't remember. Again, I was more wrapped up in Jesus Christ. They're just singing his name.
Yeah, that's the Fandango thing.
But,
I mean,
but
and it's not Fandangos, but it's like that's a crowd that's enjoying themselves.
But someone would think of a popular tune and then just add Dar for the lyrics, and it would keep happening. The Indiana Jones theme blew my mind. Match is great, all that stuff, but it's like, holy fuck. 300 people just started singing Indiana Jones theme song at a wrestling show. Never seen that before. Probably never see it again. Incredible. Incredible.
That's the DVD case. That's the DVD case on the wall. I feel like if you watch wrestling, you've got a DVD case with the classics on it. That's why we talk about RoboCop so much.
It is.
It's because we know those themes.
So that was great. It was 3 matches, intermission. So those were lengthy matches, and they all felt like they meant something. Intermission, there were 3 more matches. Highlights of the latter half, Tommy End was in a match against this dude, Rampage Brown. Rampage Brown was a big guy, but Tommy End, that guy is awesome. He was on the show last week. It's a great interview. You got to hear him. He really impressed. Sadly, he didn't win that match, but I was immediately a fan upon meeting him, and then even more so watching him in the ring.
Very cool.
And then the champion, who we almost got an interview with, Jimmy Havoc, who, according to everyone there, is a fucking cunt, as they all like to say. And as the fans chanted, emo cunt.
Wow.
I've never heard that chanted before. Jen Kruger, friend of the podcast, who has her own podcast that we've guested on.
And she's doing a new topic, right, on emo cunt really soon?
She wanted to know, like, what do English fans chant at wrestling shows? I'm like, Jen, I can't tell you. She's such a sweet, nice girl. And I'm like, Jen, I can't tell you what they chant. And she's like, no, I'd really like to know.
No, her next, on her pop culture podcast, the next topic is going to be emo cunts.
Emo cunt. Emo cunt.
That's the sound bed she's going to have going into it.
Oh, it was incredible to hear people call a man emo cunt.
Well, is Jimmy Havoc the John Cena of Progress Wrestling, or why do they not like him?
No, he's like a super evil Crispin Glover.
That sounds amazing.
And their championship, as you'll hear Glenn talk about, it's not a title. It's this gigantic fucking Iron Cross staff.
What? All right.
Yeah, it's bizarre. They have all these different ideas at these shows. It's crazy.
Well, like a crucifix?
No, like a 6-foot tall Iron Cross staff. I'll show it to you because they said you won't believe it until you see it. I'm like, I don't. And the tag titles are going to be something else. They haven't determined what those are yet. There was a contest on Twitter they talk about, and I don't know what it is yet, but they're to be revealed.
I wouldn't mind some giant gold chains. I think that'd be a pretty good championship.
But it was great,
or a crown. Mm-hmm. That'd be pretty good.
Jimmy Havoc, he had the crowd. Like, they wanted him fucking dead. They wanted him torn apart. He beat up Ali Armstrong, who was also a guest in the show. But, I mean, their champion. He used to be beloved Now they fucking hate him. Everybody calls him a cunt. Like anytime you're in the city, anytime anybody refers to Jimmy Havoc, anyone that I met, they go, fucking cunt. It's amazing. It was such a fun show. 6 matches all in all, with an intermission. And such a well-paced, well-put-together show. No time wasted. No, just nothing. Not a wasted moment. You really felt like when you walked out, I can't miss the next one. I have to see what happens again. They're going to bring in other wrestlers. Like, guys don't wrestle all the time because there's only so many spots. It's a fucking kick-ass show. You'll hear the interview with Glen Joseph now. We'll talk just a little bit more about it when we come back. But right now, please enjoy with co-owner of Progress Wrestling, Glen Joseph.
We are back on the podcast for the third time at Progress Wrestling, and we are educating Scott on English wrestling. And who better to talk about progress than one of its owners, and that is Glen Joseph, who is with us now. Hello.
I'm very good. How are you doing?
Not too bad. And we've obviously got Scott, who is
yes, ignorant on the scene. To be completely honest.
Well, I overheard some of what was being said, and I heard Tommy End talking about wrestling and conspiracy theories, which are his 2 favourite things. So I'll try and fill in the gaps anywhere that you need to.
Yeah. So these skinwalkers, all right? So,
Skinwalkers sounds to me like a brand of condom.
that are reusable.
Yeah, like you wash them out, turn them around, like socks.
Maybe it's Progress's newest heel tactic.
Skinwalking.
The way to the ring, the Skinwalkers.
Let's book it. Let's do it. Don't know who they'd be, but
I don't, yeah. And again, we're here at Progress. Explain Progress to Scott.
Progress is, I guess, kind of punk rock pro wrestling. It's a bit DIY, it's a bit rough around the edges, and it's very strong style. So we based originally the company, I wasn't involved, my 2 co-owners, Jim Small and John Briley, started the company. I came to the first show as a fan, and sat in the front row, and still on that DVD you can see me sat there, which is a bit weird now. I got
plant. That's
yeah, exactly. Everybody loves a good plant, just that's WWE. So I got involved. I presented the web show, which is called the Progress Report, and then I set up the training school with John Briley, obviously one of the co-promoters.
Which I've been to once.
Oh, you came along?
Yes, I was there. I brought Raven along.
Oh, of course you did. Yes, of course, when he came to the guest seminar.
It didn't even clock to me that we met before. When the first one, I was like, oh yeah, I did meet him at Raven.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, Raven was awesome. They're talking about psychology. He was like, that was.
Well, I spent like 6 hours in a car with him.
Oh yeah, of course.
He's a crazy guy to have a conversation with.
I remember driving through London in the dead of night with Nigel McGuinness talking about football and porn, and going, "I've ticked this off the bucket list. I am now. This is one of those moments in my life."
I think I've said this a couple of times, but I can safely say that I am one of 2 people in the world who has a photo with Raven at Stonehenge.
Oh yeah, you went to Stonehenge. Of course,
yeah.
Yes.
He had to go to Stonehenge. That's it. No, we need to go to Stonehenge. We got to go. We were driving at 90 miles an hour down the road because we've been caught in traffic in London for hours.
Yeah.
Raven had got up late, and we were like driving like, it's gonna close. And we got in about 10 minutes before it shut.
I like that the thing is Stonehenge shuts.
And then the best bit was though, Raven gets there and we're like, oh, so what do you think? He went, yeah, I thought they'd be bigger.
Like Spinal Tap.
Yeah, they're all 12 inches tall in this point.
And so that's my encounter with Raven. But back to Progress.
Yeah, so Raven did at the training school where we are now, with the only full-time training school in London and the South East. So a full-time facility in Camberwell. It's a railway arch, which is really cool. Every time.
Well, it's not good for recording podcasts.
It's really not good for recording promos either.
Recording it and then you just hear over the top as a train.
Because this was myself and Jim are both in the entertainment industry. I'm an actor, Jim's a stand-up comedian, and John Briley is a comedy promoter. So the 3 of us kind of have this weird combination where we have this, we all have different opinions on. I mean, I really like the entertainment style of wrestling. Sometimes in the past, I've been known to skip matches and just go to the segments. Okay, I'll openly say that. That was just research. Jim is massive on Japanese wrestling. He loves like the golden era of all Japan. And John likes the WWE style, likes a little bit of Japan, and he's very business minded, having been like a events promoter, a comedy promoter for years. So the 3 of us together is a bit of a weird combination. But we all love New Japan Pro Wrestling. We all love that strong style. We all love basically wrestling looking like it used to. I think Jim Cornette even said this quote recently where he said wrestling used to be pretending to make it look as real as possible while protecting the other guy, and now it's become about hurting the other guy while everyone knows that it's fake. And there's been this weird kind of like turnaround in wrestling.
Right.
We've gone back to the original style where basically we want our wrestling to look like Tommy End is a fine example. When it's snug. The way these guys work, you'll see, is very hard hitting, very very strong style, and that comes from our fascination with Japan. But we always try and do a little bit of everything on the show. I always feel that the wrestling should be a mixed bag. So
a great variety show.
Exactly. Yeah, well, this is what it is. We basically it is an entertainment. It is it's called sports entertainment, of course, by the biggest wrestling company in the world. We don't view it as that. We view it as wrestling, but it is entertainment as well. The producers of the Buddy Holly story, the show. I mean, that's my job day to day. They're coming in to see it today because they know. I've told them it's theatre. This is you have to look at it from an entertainment perspective.
That's always what I've said too when I, talking to a girl, and it's like, why do you watch that? It's melodrama. It's the only melodrama that's left in the world.
And there's fantastic moments when people go, this is rigged, yeah? This is, and then they use the F word, and they go, this is fake.
Yeah.
And you go, so's EastEnders, but you still watch it every night of the week.
What's your favourite movie?
Yeah.
It's fake.
Not really.
You're watching that. Well,
Who's your favorite boy band? Well, they're auto-tuned.
Yeah.
I mean,
Very
down
good
the
point.
line, there's always some element of something that's obviously helping the show. You're putting makeup on your face because we all look terrible. You're putting, you're doing something to enhance whatever the show is, to escape for 2 hours, to forget that, your bills, your problems at home, anything.
Because I come from a musical theatre background. Everyone was talking about when the economy crashed and we had this huge recession. The one show that actually sold more tickets than it did before was Mamma Mia in the West End, okay? And the reason they did that is people were like, I wish we could go on holiday, we should go to Greek island, I wish we could just disappear for a little while. And they were like, hey, let's watch Mamma Mia for 2.5 hours. Then you come out and you're like, yay, everything's great. Gotta go back to work.
Yes.
But it was escapism. And a lot of wrestling, I think, particularly for me, like I go to sleep with wrestling on, not necessarily watching it, but because as a kid, when I was watching it from when I was like 8 years old, I got accustomed to Jim Ross's voice, Tony Schiavone's voice. So you listen to it and you're going, I find this quite comforting. So for me, wrestling was something that was inherently there the whole time and has always been part of my life. And now it's weird as a promoter. I was talking to one of I can't remember who it was, one of the wrestlers, saying, I used to have a ring, a WCW ring with a big red cage around it, and I used to have WCW figures whose arms didn't move, and the WWF figures, and they had buttons you could press and their arms move. And I used to just book shows for days, like just doing little kind of like wrestling stuff. And now me and Jim, with Jim Smallman, the co-owner, were chatting earlier on. It's like, we kind of do that for real now.
Yeah.
It's like that, and that's a bit weird. When people say, oh, what do you do? And I'm like, I'm an actor. But actually, no. And an actor's secondary now.
You catch yourself.
Fuck my real job. It's like, no. I co-own a wrestling company. People go, wrestling? Like, real wrestling? And I go, define real.
I got real toys that their arms move.
They're really in the ring. They're really wearing tights, and there's really a lot of spray tan back there.
All right. Well, I'm sorry. I have 2 questions that I need answered about Progress.
Sure.
The first is the Progress title, which is a staff with an eagle on it.
Yes.
Why is it a staff with an eagle on it?
Again, we wanted to do something a little bit different, and as
about theatrical.
Yeah, kind of. I mean, up close you'll see it's got a very pantomime look to it. But it was something different. It wasn't just trying to go, we don't like. I love belts. I was talking to a belt maker this week, and I was like, that's a beautiful belt. We don't need it, but it's a beautiful belt. And I do see that it's a championship, but the championship is what you make it. In theatre, you always say you play the king. So when it comes from Shakespeare. So our title is the staff. People look at the staff and they go, that's the title, because it's treated as such. So I mean, you could have a Furby as your title if you wanted to. I wouldn't recommend it, but if people...
See, I was loving these suggestions a while back on Twitter for the tag team titles that are going to be coming up.
Sure, yeah.
I can't remember where they were now, but I was reading the list.
There was a couple, and a couple of people got what we're going to do as well, and I was like, oh, interesting, okay.
So there's basically a campaign of people could guess what it was going to be?
Well, this is the thing, we're very socially media social media active. Like we tweet all the time. We interact with people, and
I got a retweet from you guys today. I was pretty happy.
Yeah, man, we're all over that. That was John, by the way. I had nothing to do with that.
I blocked you.
But we like to interact with people, and even at the last show, the London riots and the Bangor Nights went to a double count out. And they just left and they started fighting into the street, and I had to chase them fighting down the street, mainly because I thought, please don't kill anyone, and hopefully the police won't be there because this is going to look really suspect. And so the fight, and I got back into the building, and Jim turned to me on the mic and went, off the mic and went, they're not fucking here. How do I restart a match when there's nobody here? And we were like, gonna have a street fight. And so somebody shouted, let's have a street fight, and Jim went, we've listened to your comments. And so we booked our first match for March, which is our anniversary show, and we're moving along to the Electric Ballroom, which is double the capacity of the garage, and the same vibe. We were very, very careful. Me and John spent hours just getting the tube and taxis around London, looking at different venues, because the vibe here, you'll obviously experience it today, there is a kind of a rock show vibe. It is an underground kind of vibe. I mean, the closest thing in this country I think that I've experienced is a Fight Club Pro, where they definitely have their matches behind cages, basically, keeping the people out, and it's really kind of we're not trying to be underground. We're not we're not deliberately going, we're going to make it really shit. But it's kind of underground. When I say shit, I don't mean the rest. I mean shitty looking, dark, whatever. We want lighting to look good. The DVDs now we shoot in 1080. It's full HD. We do downloads, which I don't think any British company. I think maybe Preston are doing it. I'm not sure, but we're trying to make it as technically savvy as possible as well, because when you are technical savvy, when you are doing stuff on social media, it makes it accessible. If a guy in Japan goes, yeah, I've heard about Progress, and then looks online and goes, oh, I can download one of the shows, right now. Yeah. And that's amazing, because rather than going, oh, if I get a DVD shipped, it's going to take 40 days.
Is it, what region is it?
Exactly, I'm going to have to get a region-specific DVD player. Yeah, there's all of that, yeah.
Well, go ahead.
Okay, just one thing,
sure.
One thought I've always had about the staff title.
Sure.
Is that I think the ultimate heel move, it's only work in progress because of the staff, but the ultimate heel move, let's say Jimmy Havoc comes out today, and he goes, screw this, I'm a champion. Snaps the staff in half and gets out a title. I think only in progress this would work, but that would get him so much hatred.
Yeah. Jimmy's a real prick.
Real prick.
He is genuinely a real prick. It went way too far.
I've tried to explain this to Scott.
Yeah.
Of his
his
misdeeds.
Yeah, I'm just going to leave it. He's a real prick.
And moving on. Right. Let's move on to my second question.
Sure.
Which was about the referee in progress, where Scott will really insist that when the referee goes to make his count, he goes 1, and then all the fans go 2, and then he goes 2, and they go 3, and they're counting ahead of him. And how and why did that start?
I don't remember when that started. We've two curious things that happen with the referees. We've got Chris is in today. We have two referees, Chris and referee Paz. He's from Oxford, which apparently is hilarious. But Paz can't count, which is great for a referee. I think he got thrown by the counting ahead once, and I think jumped to another number, and everybody gave him so much shit for it. Fucking people were applauding, and he started laughing, and then went, oh, I'm a referee. And so everyone gets on Paz's case because he can't count. But also with Chris,
this is the funniest.
Chris's voice broke when he was counting once.
Oh.
I think something like 1, 2, 3, and of course I fucking love our fans, but they can be brutal. I mean, I fucked up at the last show because I had to do an intro because Jim wasn't there immediately. And I referenced the chant that people do here, famous on the indie scene. Whenever I used to watch Ring of Honor, it was the first time I heard, this is awesome, which is a kind of a very American thing. I think that used to come from with ball games and basketball games, that kind of structure of chant. And they started. So that became famous here. This is progress, clap, clap, clap. And I made the error of going, oh, it goes, this is progress, clap, 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 clap. And I just got shit on. And now whenever you'll hear it today, people will say it as they're clapping it. They will go, "This is progress, clap, 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 clap." And it's the most annoying thing in the world, because I was in that ring for like 3 minutes and I made one mistake and it will haunt me forever. But going back to Chris, his voice broke, and now everyone, when they count around,
the same count happens, but it's all high pitched. You will hear this today, and that will kind of explain to you what if we hadn't explained this.
Yeah,
what's going on?
Which kind of explains a little bit the mentality and the atmosphere of the show and of Progress, is that, you know, because we're interactive with people, because we like, you know, we love our fans, we like doing, you know, stuff for them. I mean, if you bought a ticket for the March show, which now has, I can't believe this, but our March show is the anniversary show, the Electric Ballroom.
So
Your first anniversary?
Second anniversary.
Congratulations.
So yeah. So we're moving there, double the capacity here, and we've got, I think, 40 tickets left as of today. We've announced one match, which for me explains the kind of mindset of a Progress fan. They're like, this is something that we have to be part of, and people rushed out to. I think we sold like 300 tickets in the first hour or something, or the first day. I can't remember.
I said this earlier, that in the States this wouldn't happen on a gloomy day.
Queuing outside, yeah.
Yeah, with rain and fans lined up and waiting to get in for a show.
And most of them, I mean, like, it's general seating, so that, you know, a lot of guys want to come in if they've got general seating to get early seats. But a lot of these people don't have to. It's the guys in the front row who know where their seats are all the time, who are at the front of the queue, just like, I've been waiting so long for Progress. Yeah. And they come in and they go to the bar and they take the seats, and people like throwing stuff down, and it just feels so exciting.
Yeah, I've learned my Progress lesson of. If you want a ticket, you have to. When they go on sale, make sure you get that ticket.
Oh, if you're not on the
30 minutes.
Well, this show sold out in 24. So this is the fastest. And like Jim Smallman said, if you say that you're the fastest British wrestling show and you're not us, you're fucking lying. Because you'd have to go back in time in a DeLorean to fucking sell out quicker than we sold this show out. 24 minutes is. I think it's the fastest selling. In all seriousness, the fastest selling show in British wrestling history. So that's great. And
so you're in for a treat.
I am.
Yeah, absolutely.
You've inspired. I could talk to you for hours with all the things you said. But I'm a theater kid as well, and the podcast that me and my co-host Steve back in the States do, we're both comedians, so I relate to, you know, the stuff you're talking about, of the mindset of mashing these things together, because the elements that we love and that we love to talk about each week on wrestling are the things that are fun, the variety sake of it, not just the, you know, it's the match. Was it a 5-star match? All that stuff, like, that's boring. It's all the elements, all the characters, and the stuff that you talk about. It sounds like with your show you have this the theater mindset of the squeaky door, of you make the mistake and you roll with it.
Yeah.
There's not the correction of no, I made a mistake and this is awesome, clap, clap, clap.
Yeah.
You have this fun theater crowd. You have this fun interactive crowd in a comedy show. Mm-hmm. It sounds like these are the elements that, with your minds between you and your partner, that they may conflict at times, but that those come together in those elements.
Yeah, well, I think with Jim being the ring announcer as well, I mean, his job is to go out and, you know, make people laugh every night of the week. Mm-hmm. But he always says, before he goes out there, he doesn't plan anything, because there's always, you know, you look around at people and there's new people who are just like, I have no idea what the fuck is going on. They're all like wide-eyed and kind of like looking around this crowd. Then you get people who are there for every show, and it's great. And he just plays off it, and he plays off the crowd. And like he said, he just got married to his wife, Stacey, and they've just got back from Amsterdam. He said, I did 3 gigs this weekend. He went, I was so like tired from all the traveling and everything. He said, I don't think I told a joke. I literally just got on stage and went, I'm going to pick on this guy. And then from there, just rolled on, and then just like anecdotes and stories, etc. He said, this guy looked like a werewolf. So I said, there's a guy here who looks like a werewolf. I'm going to run with this. And that's kind
Don't tell us how we end that.
Yeah.
Because there are werewolves walking around in America, apparently.
Oh, shit. That wasn't one of those conspiracy things. We've just gone full circle.
Call back, everybody.
Yeah. So yeah, and like you say, the theatre thing is, I mean, my day-to-day job, obviously, there's like 3.5 miles of cabling on the Buddy Holly story, because we're all playing the instruments live. If something fucks up, people like it because it means that it's live. So many shows you go to on Broadway or the West End or on Click Track, you're not hearing you're just hearing basically a band who did that and a load of guys who sang backing fucking 3 years ago, and there's people miming on stage. I don't want to fucking watch that. I paid to watch theatre. I can watch that on the TV.
Exactly, yeah.
So that's that kind of mindset.
That reminds me of, I think it was Progress 4 last. Doug Williams was wrestling, I want to say Rampage Brown. Was it Rampage Brown? He was wrestling somebody. And anyway, Doug's on the outside, and he goes to get suplexed back into the ring. and he hits, like, his feet hit that...
the lights.
The lights, and
Yeah.
they're all shaking, and everyone's like, oh!
I saw Paul Robinson do it at the end of the Natural Progression final. He got up and kind of just like leant on the light for a second and went, okay, just check I'm not going to hit anything, brilliant, and then did this amazing shooting star press as only Paul Robinson can do.
But that's jazz. That's the beauty of it. That's when you come to these shows that, I mean, I've been to the indie shows previously, you know, I used to go to UPW in Southern California and see those guys, and when you see those elements happen, when you see that him hit the lights and you go, what are you going to do about it? Like, what are you going to do? And then you see the, like, him pointing at it or him going like, yeah, fix these lights, or, you know, that's broken, or those little moments that you saw at this show in the intimate setting that no one else got to see anywhere. Or if you see that in WWE, that it's too big and they don't have it anymore. It's too scripted, it's too structured. Yeah. But that's the beauty of it.
And I think it helps you progress as a performer, whether it be as a comedian, an actor, or a wrestler. If something fucks up or something goes wrong or you have to ad-lib, ad-libbing is learning about your craft. Because if something goes wrong, well then, what are you going to do? You play off it, right? Yeah. And so you get these brilliant performers, and I mean, fucking every single one of our guys, like, you know, from Mark Askins in Screw Indie Wrestling to Zach Sabre Jr., who's wrestling for the Progress title tonight, and well, fucking fingers crossed he's going to get it back, because we really don't want Jimmy to have that. And you know, all these guys are kind of are funny and charismatic. Like, you know, we're talking about variety, and there's 5-star matches. Like, Noam and Ligero are going to go out there today, and they are going to fucking, I've no doubt, tear the house down.
I need to explain El Ligero to you, who is... he's basically the El Generico of England. That's probably the best way to describe him.
I guess so. He was like, he's often, you know, in independent shows around the country. He's, you know, he's a fan favorite. He's like, the kids like him because he's got a mask with horns, and you know, and he's an amazing. He's a fucking incredible wrestler. So if you do a show in Butlins or whatever, it's a different crowd because you're playing to, you know, the kids and stuff. You come here, and we like embellished his character. We changed it. We made it darker. We made, you know, it more conflicted because. We didn't want him to be the El Generico of England. We wanted to have his own identity.
You gave him dimensions.
Yeah, exactly. And everybody should have dimensions, whether it be as a human being or a character. Otherwise, you're just they're talking to people going, I have nothing to talk to you about. You know, that's
a prime example we always use in the show. A guy that we love, but like a Kofi Kingston for the matches.
Sure.
There's a guy. He's amazing. He's really exciting. He's a great wrestler, but they give you nothing as the character to latch onto.
Yeah, sure.
There's no depth there.
Somebody told me once recently. They were like, basically, Kofi Kingston is, if they haven't got an idea with what to do with the Intercontinental title, they just put it on Kofi for a while, and he'll carry it for a while, and he'll have some great matches, and then, oh, we've got an idea. Now we're going to put it on whoever.
I think I made a meme that every year seems to be. This is the year of Kofi King. Oh my God, he's beaten the world champion.
That was amazing. Actually, I genuinely, the WWE genuinely shocked me a few weeks ago. Because I even said to my girlfriend, Kate, we were sat on the Sunday watching Raw, and I went, oh God, Kofi's going to job out to Randy, and this is going to be that. And then I went, oh my God, it's going to work.
But yeah,
that was the fastest tap dance I've ever seen.
You see, that's the thing. Kofi wins, and I guarantee, give it a month, and he will be again losing to Fandango or Superstars.
It'll be in the main event.
Yeah.
The main event.
And
is that even on anymore? I don't know.
Yeah, it is. I have to. It's one of the shows I do. Yeah, but not to compare everything to WWE, but just in that, what you're talking about with the character is that what they did with Goldust and Cody Rhodes, like that.
Loved it.
It's because they saying this is family.
Yeah.
They're brothers. It's something for the crowd to latch onto.
But they didn't turn him to fucking Dustin Rhodes. They let him be Goldust. So then you were like, well, how does the dynamic work here between the two of them? And just for the record, I fucking love that theme music. The combination of the two.
No, I can't stand it.
See, it divides opinion, but that's good.
It's the wrong, right, okay. So when I play the WWE games, I get really annoyed when they don't have the right music.
Sure. I've played now with Tom staying at his flat, and he does.
Like Grado will come out
to
his music. Everyone comes out to everyone's music, no matter who they are. I find that music and put it on there. But before they were even a tag team, I made Cody Rhodes and Goldust on the last WWE game. I made them a tag team, and I was like, right, okay. So I got my computer out, and I started with Cody's music. So it goes, do this fucking blues tonight. And then it goes so well just into Goldust thing like that, and I was like, wow, they just doing that.
I love it.
That is better.
I love it because it even
is
goes
better.
to like the whole smoke and mirror thing, and I can see Goldust's theme as this massive block and little bits of Cody's thing coming through, and I'm like, I like that. That's I like the multi-dimensional.
See, I don't mind the mashups, but that one just doesn't work.
Anytime fucking Big Show comes out now and you go, "Whirr," I'm expecting some like awesome or
then
Jericho's
you
music,
right,
because
right,
they did it so many times. I'm like, I have no idea where they're gonna go with this.
I'm waiting for the wheel. Booyaka, booyaka.
Any day now.
Yes, gonna happen.
Well, I love this idea, the way that you treat it, because even the way that you talked about visually how you represent the show, that you want a certain look. Again, that's theatrically. You're thinking about the presentation of your show probably from most different, where most promoters will look at it and go, well, that works. Or I want it to look classy.
Yeah.
And there's no other elements to it. But you know that you want it to look good for the sake of home viewers and the sake of when people see it, they know exactly what type of show they're watching. They're watching a progress.
That was another thing we were looking at venues. It's like, how do we don't have a lighting rig. We don't want to use a lighting rig. We want the lighting to be in-house. So we had to look at a venue that had great lighting. I mean, here we've got obviously the spots and what have you. So it's still kind of dark and it's still kind of a good atmosphere. But if somebody buys not a Blu-ray, like an HD download, and the ring looks really shitty, they're like, it kind of, I guess it looks fun there, but if you can't see what the guys are doing, then there's no point in them doing it. They're just doing it. I appreciate they're doing it for the in-house fans, but we want the product to look clean. We want it to look, visually exciting, but we don't want it to be like, I can't really see what they're doing.
Right.
But yeah, it's I think it's got that good balance of underground, but still looks good.
Yeah.
Which is because you don't want it to be like. There was this show. Well, this is very underground. There was a show the other week that I made fun of because they couldn't get a wrestling ring, and they had a gym mat, and it was Nikolai Volkov fighting somebody else on this gym mat, and I was just like, oh my god, that's Nikolai Volkov, and he's wrestling on gym mat, and I was like, boys, and it's like in a gym, and it's like that is what gives indie wrestling a bad name, and then you just look at Progress, and it's the complete opposite.
I hope so. I like that's kind of what we're going for, and hopefully you'll experience it today. And we're delighted to have you here.
What's on the horizon for you? What do you hope for in the next year that you can do with your shows?
We're taking the biggest step we're going to take is moving to a new venue, which is double the capacity. Which we were cheating people out of tickets. That was the thing. There's a vibe of going, well, it's very exclusive. We can always say we sold out, and now we're going, well, we're going to sell out double the venue, and we've yet to spend, I think, a penny on marketing because it's all been viral, it's all been social media, and it's all been kind of like, it's this thing that people talk about. And I love reading our, ads on Twitter where people will tell their friends and they tag us in it. Yeah. And the friends will be like, oh, I really want to get into British wrestling, but I don't know where to start. And people will be like, try This Is Progress.
That's exactly what happened to me. I was with Kat Miller from Wrestling.
Yep, sure, Kat.
And she's like,
Shooty Kat.
Yeah, exactly. Shooty Kat, that's the one. Shooty Kat. And she's like, you've got to go to Progress. I was like, why? What's it? She's like, I can't say it. You just have to watch it. And so then I think I went for like the next 3.
Yeah.
And I haven't looked back. I have to go every show.
And do you know what? That's the kind of vibe we wanted to create for completists as well. Like, I've seen people like trading our DVDs between one another that are out of stock because they're like, no, I have to have the whole set. I don't want the box set. I want the original DVDs. And like me, John, and Jim they're individually numbered, and we always get the same number every time. Like wherever I am in the country or Jim is, John will send us the DVDs when they just come literally hot off the press, and we always have the same one. And I always have 23. Jim always has 13. I can't remember. I think John has 1. But it's that kind of, we're like it. We're like, no. This is my progress pile. This is our evolution here.
See, that's what I need, a progress pile. I haven't got any DVDs yet.
Well, we are looking at doing the box set, so that'll be that's on the horizon. So that's on the horizon. The venue change, and just continue to create storylines that people care about and characters that people want to invest in, and that's why we've with the exception of like Ricochet and Adam Cole, came in for like one show. We don't do imports. We don't do. We want to keep this, and it's no disrespect to any other country and their talent, but we want to keep it about being British wrestling. We want people to invest in their own.
But then you even like a guy you haven't booked for the first time Grado came. I was I was on a massive Grado high at the time. I'd be like, I love the greatest, and then I'm there at Progress, and I've just been saying, I was with Kat, and I was just saying, oh yeah, have you seen Grado? I was like, oh no, I haven't seen it. I was like, oh he's so good, you got to see him. And then 5 minutes later he comes up, I was like, oh my god, it's Grado!
Yeah.
And it's just these surprises. You
cyclical.
don't need to go abroad.
It's like if you've got like Rafa Benitez when he was at football, soccer, When he had,
No. When I'm here,
Good.
I know it's football.
Good. That's good. Lesson number 1. And when I go there, I know it's soccer.
It's still football.
Because we use our feet. And it's herbs, because there's a fucking H in it. Eddie Izzard fan there, because that's what
I got an autograph poster. I'm
yes, good. We love Eddie Izzard here. So Chelsea had this huge squad, and he realised in order to keep everyone happy, he'd have to cycle the players in and out. And people kind of gave him heat for it because they didn't like it. They wanted just their best first 11. But he's also managing and what have you. We look at that kind of in a way in progress. People want to see guys come back, but then there's only, we can't do 10 matches. People get exhausted here. By the end of this afternoon, I will be exhausted. Everybody here will be exhausted.
It gets quite warm as well.
It does, man. Yeah, that we
especially. I mean, it's quite good that it's winter at the moment because in the summer.
I got back from Barbados 3 days ago, and I'm just like, oh, I'm so pleased that it's fucking warm in here. Normally, I'm sweating like a pig. I'm just like, I'm enjoying this so much. So I'm looking forward to it being warm later on. But yeah, you've got to cycle. Everybody's got to have some prestige. It's why for the Natural Progression series as well. People trust us now to bring in the best young talent that they've never seen before. Unless you go to like Rev Pro or you go up and down the country, some of our fans, in fact I'd say the majority of our fans, probably don't watch a lot of other British wrestling because they just identify, as far as they're concerned, British wrestling is progress. Yeah. It happens. It's an event. It's like how I used to think about the WWE. I was like, no, the WWE is the right way. Everything else is kind of meh. But just because I was cultured on it.
Yeah.
And at the moment, what we're doing, and we don't,
and that's what's popular. I mean, to your credit, that's the other reason why. Like, you guys are the popular thing in town.
I guess, yeah, and I think part of that is going back to what I was saying initially. Like, these are British guys, and people go, I didn't know British guys. I watch like NXT maybe if they watch that, or they see Regal, who's fucking unbelievable, that man. And a good friend of ours actually. You see, that's the kind of thing when Regal sends us a tweet or sends Jim a tweet or whatever, and they're having a chat about how much Jim Smallman loves Phil Collins. He really does love Phil Collins, by the way.
Question: William Regal, One Day to Progress.
I'd like to say yes.
Imagine the cheer that would get. I think that would eclipse everything.
Yeah, we'd have to put a new roof on the place. Unbelievable.
Yeah, I don't think Scott would realise how over William Regal is in England.
I'm trying to get William Regal to do panto. He wants to come and do, because you don't get pantomimes over there.
I haven't been to a panto since I was about 6, but if William Regal was doing panto, I'd be there in a minute.
Yeah, I'm trying to see if I can get him in Blackpool, because the Winter Garden's there. Because I think, fucking people pay a lot. Pantomime is basically where you take a fairy story and turn it into a show. It's like Sleeping Beauty or Cinderella or whatever. Yeah. But there's like there's principal characters where there'll always be a dame, which is a guy dressed up as a woman, or two dames if it's like the Ugly Sisters. And there's like the funny guy that everyone gets with, and then there's Prince Charming, and then there's the princess, and it's a kind of a variety show, I guess, in a way. But it's very twee, it's very Christmassy, and it's only ever on at Christmas. And William Regal has just said, I was having a Twitter conversation with him. He's like, I'd love to do panto. Love to do panto back in England. And I was like,
what would you have him doing?
Widow Twanky. He's got to be Widow Twanky.
Oh yeah.
I'd have that robe, the black robe with villain on the top.
Yeah. Okay. I'm sold on the William Regal panto now.
Awesome.
And we have we've been talking for quite a while here, and the show's about to start, so we better let it go. Just quickly.
Plugs.
Plugs.
Me, you can follow me on Twitter at Glen_Joseph, but that's not important. What you need to do is go and follow at @thisis_progress on Twitter. On Facebook, it's facebook.com/progresswrestling, or go to progresswrestling.com, which has all the information about tickets. If you're not on the mailing list, you won't get a ticket because they sell out that quickly. Or if you miss out, there's a waiting list there. There's merch, there's DVDs, there's downloads. We're getting really pushing the downloads. There's fucking amazing t-shirts that Jim Smallman has designed. Everything's if in doubt, go to progresswrestling.com, and that'll send you on your merry progress way.
And that's where we can get to the shows. If we're not here,
if you want to get the download, we run through a cycle payloads. You go there, go to progresswrestling.com, go to merch, DVDs and downloads are there.
Hello, sounds similar to Skinwalkers.
What, brand of condom?
Yeah.
Magnum Skinwalkers.
It's the payload.
Coming soon.
Thanks, Jen.
And to bring that full circle, that's about that is how you start and end a conversation about progress, about talking about condoms. And on that note, it has been wonderful to have you on the podcast.
Thank you very much.
And I'm sure we'll probably do this one day soon because I go to every progress show.
Absolutely. A pleasure.
Yes. Pleasure. Excellent.
So that was Glen Joseph from Progress Wrestling. I've said it before, I'll say it again. if you happen to be in the London area, go to the show. Apparently, Chapter 12, the next show on March the 30th, is sold out. He's plugging it, but 600 seats in the new venue, sold out.
Sounds incredible. I wish we could go.
I wish I could go again too, and I wish I could take you there. But if we go, I hope that wasn't my first and only Progress show live. It's an amazing experience. It's unlike anything I've ever seen before. It's wild. It's a wild time.
Well, let's do it. Let's put it on the books for 2015.
Okay.
All right.
And if you can't go there live, then order the DVDs and get their streaming shows live at progresswrestling.com. Don't get the network yet. You got a buddy that's got the network. Let him spend his $10 and you
Scott, why shouldn't I get the WWE Network?
I'm saying get Progress Wrestling instead.
No, I know.
Mooch off a guy like me.
That's right. Scott, you were fiddling around with it earlier, and I sat down, and we started watching some of WrestleMania while we were watching Elimination Chamber.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. We were double dipping. Well, we'll get to that in a second.
It reminds me of the good old days when you get the old wrestling cardboard box and you start pulling out videos and DVDs. We're like, let's watch this one, and let's watch this one, and never leave again.
Oh, you mean my big cardboard box of VHS tapes?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's in the storage unit.
That's right. We're going to have to convert all those to DVDs.
Yeah. Well, what a pain in the ass that's going to be.
Or we can all upload them to the cloud, and they can all become, like, when you die, you can either download yourself onto the internet, or you can just die.
What?
It's just sci-fi. It's the singularity, right? That's when all the robots come.
But I haven't seen Helix yet.
Oh, yeah.
No spoilers.
Oh, jeez. I'm
no
sorry.
Spoilers.
Sorry.
It looks like the Thing in a lab.
It's not.
It's not?
It's not.
Oh.
I think it's zombies and people complaining about a virus.
I don't really like this virus here.
I'm pretty sick, guys.
Yeah.
I wish it was a good show. I don't know if it is.
It seems like it was a good show.
It's by Moore, the guy who did Battlestar Galactica.
Oh.
He executive produced it. I don't know if he's right.
Oh, throwing money behind the machine, huh?
Yeah.
Well, speaking of the machine, it's time for jerk tweets. Each week, go to twitter.com and send us your hashtag jerk tweets to us at Curtain Jerks. And these are just some responses. We got a bunch more, but, we got a lot for this episode. So here we go with these. The 5 Count, friends of the show. They used to be Wrestling Show. Now they're the 5 Count. Go check those guys out on YouTube. The 5 Count says, the mental image of AW riding into your studio on a horse is quite hilarious. Quote, who the fuck is Mrs. Dad? Man, he should have been here for it.
Yeah, being like the mental image, the real image was really striking.
Yeah, that horse
pooped everywhere.
Yeah, pooped a lot.
Yeah, there is just little green mulch balls of manure all over the place.
As funny as that is to see on a ranch or in a zoo, something like that, when an animal poops.
And if there's one thing about Scott and Steve, it's that we both hate manure.
Oh, more than Biff Tannen.
Thank you. Or Mad Dog Biff Tannen.
Yeah, way more than Mad.
No, just Mad Dog Tannen.
Yeah, because he eats it. It gets in his mouth.
Doesn't it get in somebody's mouth in the second or first one?
I guess so.
I just remember at one point he coughs, and then it's like, oh, he got a little manure in his mouth, and then he just lets out a big old turd.
That's for sure number 3.
Yeah,
like it's a big old droplet of like, no, I hate manure. And I guess he goes through the paces to really find that out. Like each Tannen really tries to indulge in manure.
I think each Tannen has his own existence with manure. But then each one has a terrible Marty McFly activated, terrible, like, scarring manure experience.
And I think that's why Billy Zane only lasts in the first movie, because he was probably going, I love manure. Oh my God, you guys, this is great.
That's it. You're out of the futuristic gang.
Oh, come on, guys. Don't you love manure too?
That's why you don't see Billy Zane very often. Everybody's like, I'm not okay with this manure thing.
Yeah, no. Him and Eric Stoltz, they love manure.
Yeah, that's why they're not a part of the Back to the Future franchise anymore.
And that's why Eric Stoltz gets knocked out in Anaconda super quick, and that's why Billy Zane was the Phantom, because he loves shit.
That's right.
And that movie is shit.
That's right.
And then we got Planty1929 says, the last 10 to 15 minutes of the latest Curtain Jerks was brilliant. Was nearly in tears laughing.
I don't know why this is so shocking to everybody. This is like these things happen to us on the podcast.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, just because it's a low level or a mid card wrestler who we don't have anything to say to doesn't mean that it's going to be very exciting when they show up.
Yeah,
And
sometimes.
sometimes it's just really exciting.
Yeah, sometimes it turns into madcap. What I guess is hilarity to you guys.
But I mean, it was pretty shocking here in the studio.
There's a bunch of horse shit everywhere.
There is horse shit everywhere, and Mrs. Dad ate all the fucking peanut butter cups,
Yeah.
and he just started shitting everywhere.
Yeah.
He started making his own little peanut butter cups, and he left them everywhere.
Yeah. Yeah. We gotta hire a janitor.
Yeah, Jack Swagger is so big time now that he won't do any cleaning.
No, he doesn't do any cleaning anymore.
He's just shuffling papers around.
His big excuse was like he goes for title matches, so why would he clean up poop?
Yeah, Wednesday nights when he's here, when we record, like because he's not on tour, it's just,
Or Thursday mornings.
or Thursday mornings, he's just making busy.
Yeah, making busy. Like how that horse made busy in here.
Yeah, made plenty of busy.
Well, thank you guys for listening, and we appreciate the comments. And back to the WWE Network. This network. Okay. My experience is it's frozen up on me when... Okay, I got it on my PS3.
Okay.
Put it on the iPad.
Okay.
Won't work on the Xbox 360.
Not at all.
Not at all. Username, password not recognized. Same username, password. I'm not retarded.
I know.
I'm not a stupid.
I got it. You're not what Eugene Dinsmore was implied to be.
No, sir. Eugene Bischoff's more.
Dinsmore. Was his name Dinsmore?
No, they just called him Eugene, but
Oh.
he was supposed to be Bischoff's...
Nick Dinsmore.
Yeah, Bischoff's cousin? No, nephew. I think nephew.
Just what really got me was that they had turned that jacket inside out, and then they patched it on the back of that inside out jacket.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't just a white jacket. It was a members-only jacket. They turned inside out, and they sewed it into the lining.
And then I think also it was green for a long period of time. I can't remember if Tajiri spit on it or what. Like, then it was not cleaned.
I'm surprised they didn't do the classic, he gets hit in the head really hard, and he turns into a bad guy.
I really thought that... I thought he was going to get super smart.
Yeah. Oh, he turns into Damien Sandow?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe he is Damien Sandow, and we didn't see that car accident in between.
Oh, my God. I think you're right. Oh, man. He was working on the car when it got backed up into Bret Hart into his ankle.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
God, why don't you guys talk about the WWE Network? Whoa.
I'm sorry.
It sounded like a random fan just ran in here and said they wanted to talk about the WWE Network.
Security. Security.
Watch out for that horse poop.
Edge, could you do something about that random fan?
This random fan right here,
Yeah.
he's hiding underneath your table. Would you like me to get him by the ankle?
By whatever means you can. We welcome Twitter comments. We don't welcome comments running in from fans. It makes us all feel very uncomfortable. And this is the time, as for you, a wrestler, that when someone jumps the rail, you can then beat the hell out of them.
I completely understand. I will get this flashlight and I will be underneath your studio table looking for that fan.
Oh, all right. I hope it's not a long
Oh,
journey.
God, you guys are squirrely down there.
Why is this taking so long?
Just talk about the WWE Network. Gah!
Edge, he's right there. Edge, he's right there.
Where did he go?
He went off into the guest breakfast lounge.
All right. Can I bring you guys back a burrito or anything?
I would love a banana covered in peanut butter.
You've got it.
Thank you. That's going to be tricky.
Yeah, I don't want anything. Well, I guess he said both of us. I should have spoken up. I'm such an idiot.
Should have got Canadian bacon.
Is that what a banana covered in peanut butter is?
No, it's just he's Canadian, and so he'd know how to prepare it properly.
How? Oh, is that a banana and peanut butter?
No, just Canadian bacon.
Oh, what's a banana covered in peanut butter?
A banana covered in peanut
Does
butter.
it have a name? Well, you
what
make it sound like Canadians have this innate ability to dip a fucking banana in peanut butter without getting their hands dirty.
I just know it'll keep him busy, and, he likes to keep his hands clean, and I don't know how he's going to serve it.
Now, the WWE Network.
Uh-huh.
When you were using it, it seemed like a pretty interesting interface. It seemed like a pretty interesting interface.
It is an interesting interface. It's different on the iPad than it is on the PS3, but it's interesting how you can. It took me a little bit to figure out like where all the pay-per-views were, how you choose them, because it's categorized that if you choose like all WWE, then it says, all the pay-per-view names, and then you have to click on it to choose which year you want. Or you could
they
just
don't just have them chronologically?
They do, but then you'd have to go back. Like if you want to see SummerSlam 98 or something, then you just keep going through. But instead, you click on SummerSlam, and then you can see all the years of all the stuff.
That's pretty cool.
I'm constantly surprised. I keep thinking, well, they won't have that on there. There's no way that King of the Ring is on there. Oh my God, that King of the Ring is on there.
Well, they've got everything on there, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, didn't we immediately just search for Chris Benoit just because that's what we do?
Yeah. I think that's what everybody does. Like, oh, is there? Can you look for him? Can you?
Yeah, he's there.
You can't search for him.
Yeah, just search for the things that you know he's in.
Yes, like he's in there, but you can't find him by name. But my experience with the PS3 when I first got this, everything was freezing. I tried to watch an episode of Legend of Wrestling that was an hour and 13 minutes, and it took over 4 hours to watch because it would freeze and it would glitch all the time. Then I tried to watch Bash at the Beach 2000. I got 20 minutes in, which took over 2 hours, and then I'm like, well, fuck it. It's now 3 in the morning. I'm going to bed.
Do they have the roundtables?
That's what Legends of Wrestling.
That's what Legend. Okay.
Yeah, they have 3.
Okay.
They have 3 episodes of that. I watched one of them. I love that show. I highly recommend it. If you can get it to work for you, watch it. And then I tried to watch some of Judgment Day 2005 last night on my iPad. I think it worked fine. My mistake was I was watching it right before I went to bed, and I watched the build-up and intros to the John Cena JBL I Quit match, which is just a bloodfest. It's a cool match, but I remember them being in the ring and the ref holding up the title belt and thinking, I should have started here. And then I think I immediately fell asleep.
It's sort of what I've always wanted in terms of wrestling, where if you watch a wrestling pay-per-view and you see the build-up, and like you get the best stuff in those video packages, but every once in a while I'll be like, oh man, that sounds really cool. Like they mentioned some storyline or a bunch of matches leading up to the pay-per-view.
Yeah.
And I feel like now you've got a little bit of a reference point. I think I was joking with you earlier, what if the WWE Network was just a YouTube channel? If they did that, if they just had SEO terms, like so you're watching that Judgment Day with John Cena and JBL.
Yep.
Now they would have tags for every like clip or every sort of episode leading up to it.
Not skin tags.
Not skin tags. Certainly not skin tags. Well, I guess what I'm doing right now is trying to put caramel all over a chocolate cake. I'm gilding the lily at this point. Wow, the WWE Network, it's a digital library that you get to watch at any time. That'd be great, but I wish there was a little bit more crosshatching between the network and things so you have a better reference level.
But supposedly that works. Like if I search for whatever, give me a search term to look up something. Like
okay,
if you're thinking not just a dude's name, but give me like what do you want?
Flaming table.
Flaming table. Okay. Scotty Flamingo shows up.
All right. Do they have suggested things? Like when you put something in, they'll give you suggested search results?
Yeah, that's what happened. Okay, so then I just typed in table. So then I get tables, ladders, chairs, or stud stable.
Whoa.
Should I click on stud stable?
Yeah, what is it?
No results found.
That's weird.
That is super weird. But then, it went away. What happens if I just what happens when I click on tables, ladders, chairs? Oh, it's just the event from 2013.
Oh, I guess they don't do individual, like you can't do chair shot or something like that?
Let's see about chair shot. Chance McQuaid. Concerto. Tables, ladders, chairs. Electric chair. Chair shot. Let's click on chair shot. All right. It appears to just be a bunch of different clips. So like Big Show, the first one that pops up is Big Show lands knockout punch through chair. That's from a SmackDown.
Do they have The Rock and Mankind's Royal Rumble chair fight?
Well, we also have a Matt Hardy executes chair shot.
Nice.
That's from the Royal Rumble in 2009. Edge uses a chair. Great Khali hits Batista with a steel chair. That's from SummerSlam 07.
Was he wearing it like a glove?
I don't know. He might have been. Heidenreich gets disqualified. Boy, there's... The Baldies deliver 3 chair shots from Anarchy Rules and ECW. Oh, shit. All right, if this is just a super quick clip.
Let me see.
Yes, I think it's gonna be. This is amazing. It's just gonna cut to this part and No Way Out of 2000. That we've got Big Show in the ring with the Rock down, and here comes Shane O'Mac. The crowd's going crazy.
A bunch of photographers are going towards Shane O'Mac.
The WWF logo's in the corner.
Earl Hebner just got punched in the face.
The Rock hit Big Show with a chair. That's not what I was looking for. Here comes a rock bottom by the Rock onto the Big Show. Oh, he's setting up for the People's Elbow. There's a China sign. It's going to be it. This is the part I was totally thinking of.
Oh, man, that other ref is still punching Earl Hebner in the face.
Tim White.
Yeah, Tim White.
Who's been deceased several times.
Oh, that's a good chair shot.
The diving Shane O'Mac chair shot from No Way Out 2000. I love that chair shot. That's amazing. It cut right to it. It's like an hour, 57 minutes in.
Oh, like it cut to that right in the pay-per-view?
Yeah.
Oh, so
yeah, it was
at
this
any
clip
point
of.
you could have rewinded back to the rest of that pay-per-view. Like it went directly to that spot.
But Shane McMahon hits the Rock with a steel chair, went right to that spot, gave you a little bit of a. It wasn't just the chair shot. Gave you a little bit before that.
I like that because say you're at work, you're watching the WWE Network. It's like, oh man, I missed that Shane O'Mac flying chair shot. Oh man, maybe I should just rewind and watch a 3-hour pay-per-view right now here in the office.
Yeah. Now this is just an ultimate test right here to see. Okay, I'm like, how messed up is this network? I tried to type in bra and panties, doesn't show up, which is for the best.
Try puppies.
Puppies. No puppies. No search items found.
Okay, try the cat.
Oh. Seeing if that Armageddon clip is
maybe.
Oh, there's the cat. Oh, Jerry the King Lawler versus Steven Richards, No Way Out. Oh yeah. This is the show. Armageddon 1999, I believe. Oh, there's Ivory. She was lovely. Lovely.
Cheekbones. Good cheekbones.
Yeah, great.
She's like a sexy aunt. Good cheekbones.
Great cheekbones. And then Jacqueline.
Now, this is a cocktail gown match in a hot tub?
I guess. I don't really remember. I just remember the moment that had come after all this because I watched it live. It was like, oh, she took her top off.
Did she?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. The cat goes topless, and I think it's Slaughter or Patterson that then put a towel over her, and the crowd boo.
I bet they would. Is this the same Armageddon where they have that Hell in the Cell?
Yeah.
It's a good one.
With Rikishi getting chokeslam off top. So it works. It doesn't work. Xbox doesn't work. PS3 doesn't really work. I guess from an iPad or a desktop works great. So I'm confused. I want to get down to knowing what's happening with this thing.
Yeah, I'm confused too. When does Kat take her top off?
It happens in a little bit.
I saw this pay-per-view live.
So did I.
Yeah, I saw it on the old pay-per-view.
And you didn't see her top come off?
I don't remember that at all.
Queer.
Oh, let's see. Ivory just got stripped. It's funny. I don't like. Why would they call it? What do they call this match? It's just a cocktail gown in. It doesn't even look like a warm hot tub. It's an above-ground pool that's very small. Everyone kind of looks miserable and unhappy.
I would guess it's not a hot tub.
No. I think they just filled it with water. It's not a fun or flirty thing. Oh, she's drowning her. She's drowning that woman.
Mm-hmm.
Ivory is putting that other woman's head underneath the water.
I think that's BB.
Who is BB?
BB was a character they tried to introduce as a super hot EMT.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
That's a kind of good idea, I guess.
That's a kind of good idea, I guess.
Anyway, we should get to the bottom of this WWE Network.
Yeah. We should call the man in charge. Steve is distracted because BB is in a thong.
Well, they just took her cocktail dress off.
Mm-hmm. What's weird is...
And now she's just getting up there and sort of standing around like, oh my God, I can't believe this happened.
Now Ivory's trying to remove her brassiere. Oh, I have trouble with that too. Trying to unhinge the back like that.
I thought you said you could do it with one hand.
I used to be able to. I've had trouble lately.
Yeah?
I have to pause this. You can't.
You can't.
I can't. I've been talking just fine. I've been trying to move.
Yeah, but it's because it's out of your peripheral.
No, it's not. I can see it perfectly. You don't think I aim this more towards me than you?
Well, maybe this is another problem with the WWE Network. people can just turn on WWE shows whenever they want and start distracting people. Like
Yeah.
if I had an iPad in my car, I would probably be watching WWE all the time.
I think you do.
Have an iPad in my car?
Yeah.
Oh, no, that's where my radio used to be. That's a hole.
That's right.
Yeah.
I'm so confused about iPads.
Mm-hmm.
I say we call Vince McMahon himself to find out what is the deal with the network, why there's freezing, why there's inconsistencies, like what's happening.
I'm sure he can answer all of our technical questions.
I'm sure he can.
I'm dialing.
Okay, good.
Oh, and it's ringing.
Oh, good.
Hello?
Vince McMahon, this is Curtain Jerk, Steve Sears, and Scott Narver. Vince McMahon?
What?
Why?
Go to WWE.com/help if you have any questions about the network.
Vince McMahon, I take it this isn't your first questions about the network you've received today.
No, it is not. I've been bombarded.
Are you embarrassed?
I'm confused. I don't really know. I'm with this huge switchboard. I'm trying to make all the matches work.
Well,
What match can I patch in for you?
wait a minute. Are you telling me that you're in charge of where the matches come from?
This is very difficult for me. I don't remember all these characters. I don't remember all these wrestlers. It's trouble because then trying to make a switchboard for deceased wrestlers doesn't work so good because you have to contact voodoo spirits and bring their matches up.
So are you trying to recreate all the matches that we see in the WWE Network live? We're not actually watching the actual product. We're watching recreations of them?
It's a giant switchboard, all right? You've seen phones in the 50s and telephone operators doing that. I'm all alone here.
Okay,
That's
all right.
just me. I'm trying to make this whole
Well-
goddamn thing work.
Let me take this opportunity to thank you for plugging in Shane McMahon flying chair shot for us. We watched that just recently on the No Way Out pay-per-view.
Well,
from
you're
2000.
you're welcome.
Do you remember doing that for us?
I do, and it's a pain in the ass because Shane's dead.
What?
To me.
Oh, God, Jesus Christ.
Oh, he's not really dead. I just don't like to talk to him. Turn his back on me and wrestling. He should be the one running this damn switchboard.
You know what? If Shane McMahon was unrolling this WWE Network business, I think everybody'd be pretty happy with it.
I'm sure they'd be thrilled, and this would be way easier for him to understand. I don't understand technical stuff.
You know what would be
I
great?
don't do the app.
What about if Shane McMahon did some sort of hardcore match versus some wrestler who was fighting on behalf of everyone's complaints about the WWE Network?
All right, searching for those terms right now.
No, I'm sorry. I don't know if that
Sorry, no search results found.
Not yet, right? Perhaps that's something for the future, Mr. McMahon?
Shane McMahon is dead
What?
to me.
Oh, God. Each time you say that, it really hits hard.
Look, what other problems are you having? Is there anything else I can help you with this afternoon?
I understand that the Xbox 360 is not registering the
I
login.
don't want the WWE Network to work for X-Pac.
No, Xbox.
I don't want X-Pac to have it.
No, it's not Sean Waltman. It's Xbox.
Yes, X-Pac is not allowed to watch the WWE Network.
No,
that
it's-
is a rule I set in place for anywhere that X-Pac is. I don't want it to work.
It's a gaming console. The colors are black and green. It's the Xbox.
X-Pac.
Xbox.
X-Pac.
Xbox.
X to the P to the A to the C. WWE Network shall not work for thee.
All right. Fair enough. Fair enough. Besides that, though, a couple days later, it sounds like everything's working. It sounds like it was a bumpy rollout.
It is a bumpy rollout. I mean, everybody sets this thing up and they say, here, you run this while Triple H goes and does stuff on TV. While he goes and messes with Daniel Bryan and kisses my daughter on television.
Would you rather be on TV kissing your daughter?
Yes, I would.
Okay.
Yes, I would. I would rather be on television kissing Stephanie McMahon, my daughter who's alive.
Yes.
To me.
Oh, wait. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm just a little surprised that you guys would unroll a product with, like, the demand was certainly there. Everybody's going crazy for it. I'm just a little surprised that you would unveil it to everybody without the sort of technical specs in place or a team on call ready to deal with all the issues.
It's me.
Yeah, I'm surprised that it's just you. I know that
People said I changed the pay-per-view industry all by my own. So they said,
Absolutely.
here, why don't you do this? And I said, all right. And, well, it's a little bit more overwhelming than I thought it'd be.
Well, it's not the same as just you.
Hold on, somebody right now is looking for Pete Gas matches.
Okay.
There we go.
Which one? Which Pete Gas?
All I have on hand is Mean Street Posse versus Kai and Tai in SmackDown from 2000.
Oh, okay.
And enjoy. There we go.
I heard
Patch
that
through.
was a really good match.
I'm sure it's a great match.
Well, you know what, Mr. McMahon? While we're talking, if there's any other matches that are coming in that you're plugging, don't be quiet. Just let me know. We'll hear about it. We can tell our listeners about them.
Well, all right. I will if I.
I know
need
if they come in. If they come in.
be. All right.
The other thing was, you know.
China versus Jeff Jarrett for the Intercontinental Championship. Here we go.
Oh God, I don't know why would someone want to watch that?
It's a very unusual match.
Because they can, I suppose.
Guitars and kitchen sinks and flour.
Yikes. So the other thing is, you know, it's not about revolutionizing. It is revolutionizing the pay-per-view industry again, but it's not you at your dinner table at midnight putting matches together anymore. Now you have to be in front of a computer and an old-timey 1950s switchboard.
I haven't slept since Monday.
Really?
I haven't slept. People keep wanting stuff. People keep wanting more matches. Hold on. Papa Shango versus Ultimate Warrior. Here we go.
Jeez, is that a match?
Hey, by definition, no.
Well,
There we go.
Mr.
Patch that through.
Mr. McMahon, I like that it also goes directly to points within a pay-per-view, and it's not a separate clip because it takes you actually to the media, to the actual source, the pay-per-view itself.
Yeah, this is what people wanted. They wanted to watch everything all the time, all at once. They don't want pay-per-views anymore. So with that, you don't get a voice anymore. That's what I say. What do you want on TV? What do you want to see? What's something you want?
I guess good storylines and some interesting action.
Nope.
Nope. I don't want that.
Nope. If you paid $55 a month, that's what you get. Not anymore, pal. $10. You don't get a say in nothing.
Yeah, I was about to say, how can you tell what's doing good anymore? I mean,
By what I say, what's doing good.
is there any way to count what pay-per-views are watched or anything like that?
Nope.
Or, no?
Nope.
Oh, is there any way that you could sort of do an advertisement on Raw and let people know, hey, this pay-per-view from 2003, and then see if it boosts numbers or anything?
What's the point? Who cares? That pay-per-view's over. That's just $10 in my pocket.
I guess that's right, but I feel like you have a really good way to sort of gauge the fans' interest with this right now.
Yeah, and I tell them what they want, so it doesn't really matter.
All right, well, that seems kind of commonplace
You know what's
for WWE.
main event of WrestleMania?
What's the main event for WrestleMania?
Whatever the hell I want it to be.
I guess you're right, Mr. McMahon.
It can be a big jacked up fella and a guy that's kicked me in the head.
That sounds like what it's going to be.
Yeah, that is what it's going to be. You want a little troll in there? You want a little garden gnome in there?
Yeah, okay.
Nope.
No.
Not going to happen.
You know, you've done triple
Vote
threats
with your
before.
dollars. Oh, only 10? You're only throwing a Hamilton my way? Not enough to influence me.
Jeez. If anything, this WWE Network sounds like maybe it's kind of insulated you guys even more.
Hold on a sec. The Miz versus Jerry the King Lawler.
Oh, God.
Here we go, patching that through.
Well, Mr. McMahon, best of luck to you. I want to say...
Hey, thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Yeah, I just want to let you know.
Nobody ever says that. Nobody ever wishes me luck.
Well, you know what?
This is a very strenuous job I have at the moment.
It always sounds like you've got stuff figured out, but I want to let you know we support you, and even though you're making decisions without us, often you make the right one.
Well, gee, that really touches my heart. I mean, as sleep-deprived as I am and as hard that I've been working, would you like Daniel Bryan in the main event of WrestleMania 30?
Yeah. You know what? That would be incredibly generous of you, Mr. Vince McMahon. Yes, I would.
No chance in hell.
All right.
Kiss my ass.
Thank you, Mr. McMahon.
You're fired. Other things that I say. Search for him on the network and I'll play him for you.
Thank you, Mr. McMahon. Oh, man. What a jerk. What a delightful jerk.
Yeah, what a real charming asshole.
A charming asshole.
Oh, man. Korporate Kane and Vince McMahon not giving us anything we want.
No.
Except for this gigantic digital library.
Yeah, this incredible access to everything.
Oh, man. Bash at the Beach 2000 really is a show that I'm excited to watch all the way through. That's the one where Vince Russo goes fucking crazy on Hulk Hogan.
Really?
They have the shoot, and then he leaves, and then there's
That's
another
because
title
Hogan
match.
leaves?
It's so confusing. I don't know what the real story is, but he calls him like a piece of shit. And he says, you're worthless. And then Jarrett lays down for him in the ring, and Hogan just puts his foot on him and covers him, gets the title, and then he leaves the arena, and then later on they have a real title match between Jarrett and Booker, I think.
All right.
It's super crazy.
Well, I'd like to watch that with you. That sounds like a giant clusterfuck, and then they tried to book on the fly to rescue everything.
Yes, and Ralphus was on the show. Do you remember Ralphus?
Is that the creepy guy?
Yeah.
I think was he the guy from ECW?
WCW.
WCW.
So he was with Jericho for a while, and then turns out he was with Screaming Norman Smiley for a while.
I don't know.
Well, don't worry. I'll introduce you to Ralphus, and then we'll introduce him to our audience because he's a guarantee that we will have him on the show in the way that we have 98% of our guests on this show.
All right. Sounds good to me.
Yes, Ralphus will be a guest on the show. So that wraps up another episode of Curtain Jerks. Man, you got to check out Progress Wrestling, everybody. Go to progresswrestling.com. Thank you to Tom Anstey for the help with all those interviews with the Progress Wrestling guys. Thank you, Glen Joseph. Thank you, Tommy N. Thank you, Rosie Lee. And thank you, Ali Armstrong. It was so much fun talking with you guys and getting to know you guys. And I hope you listeners out there, you give Progress Wrestling a chance. Because the only thing I can compare it to is like an ECW now. That it's a wild show that you've not seen like anything else. But it's not ECW. It's got crazy good wrestling. And it's a fun, funny show. So check that out. And tell us your stories about WWE Network, how it's working for you, because it is all over the place for me.
Share it. Share.
Here, I'm sharing this with you, Steve. The cat's ripping off Ivory's dress.
Thanks, I appreciate it.
Sure thing. So for Curtain Jerks, I'm Scott Narver.
And I'm Steve Sears.
Enjoy your wrestling, kids.
You have received this transmission from the Comedy Podcast Network. For more shows, visit comedypodcastnetwork.com.